Brodes Media.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Real quickly, before we talk about the madness that's about to occur on Sunday afternoon, if you're new to the channel, smash the subscribe button and smash the thumbs up button as well. I greatly appreciate all the support. I love you so much, I can't even put it into words. Over on Twitter, at Brodes81, toss me a follow there as well. And lastly, brodesmedia.com. I've been implementing a lot more blogs, been writing a lot more content for the website. Definitely check that out. And with that being said, enjoy the show. What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything here. I don't feel great about Sunday. I don't know why anyone would feel great about Sunday. You could point out the flaws in the Kansas City Chiefs defense, but I don't anticipate Nick Sirianni and the Eagles putting together some magnificent game plan to expose those holes. Quite frankly, I think a lot of those holes just have to do with the fact of it's early, it's September, it's so early in the season, more so than I feel the Kansas City Chiefs are some disastrous defense as a whole. With that said, sometimes the NFL season is all about timing. You could see a team week 3 and you can see that same exact organization week 11 and you totally get a different brand. So is there possibly a way that we're just catching the Chiefs at the right time? I don't think so. I mean, I'm seriously just trying to look for avenues, right? Could this possibly be not the Chiefs' year? Every single season, we automatically assume that Pat Mahomes will be in the Super Bowl. Well, how many times have the greatest quarterbacks in this league outside of Tom Brady been to the Super Bowl? Let's look at Aaron Rodgers. Let's look at Drew Brees. Let's look at Russell Wilson, right? It's not as if just because you're the most spectacular quarterback in the league that you're automatically going to have that type of success and you're written right into the Super Bowl every year. We're accustomed to that right now because of the handful of successful seasons that they've had early on here in the Pat Mahomes era. Is it possible we can label this season as a hiccup along the way? When you think of Tom Brady's insane success, there were a couple seasons here and there that were flirted throughout that were not eye-popping. Is this that season for Kansas City? Once again, I'm searching and looking and really diving way too deep for the answers when I realistically know that this is going to be a beatdown. And what I want to think about is the link. I need to see the link stay involved. And how is that going to happen? Great defense. Or a great offense or something early to get the rise going. You know, when you think about that 49ers drive, that was 9 minutes long. There was pain. It was making us suffer. Moving downfield. Taking off clock. Well, at some point, everything gets sucked right out of the air. If you're going to have a chance, it needs to be hectic. Jalen Hurts to Devontae Smith super early. Bang, 7-0. Bang, hit him real quick. Bang, give him a black eye. Or, if Kansas City gets the ball first, a 3 and out. All right, Fletch and Javon Hargrave, give it a couple of these. When I'm saying these, I'm talking about raise the roof gestures or something. Pound in the chest. Now, one series is not the full story here. There's clearly 60 minutes to make your adjustments. Andy Reid is probably going to get whatever the hell he wants. If Schultz of the Dallas Cowboys can move downfield at will, logging in an insane amount of yards and receptions, think about what Travis Kelce can do if they're going to play that same coverage and play the bend, don't break style, which they've done in zone form, and basically you're giving up so much yardage in front of you. It's soft. It's way too soft. They're going to target Tyreek Hill. They're going to target Travis Kelce. Those two are the ones they're eyeing in on. But I'm just basing this off of the way tight ends have had success against the Eagles last week. Schultz looked like the best tight end in football, apparently. Well, imagine what the best tight end in football can do. Or at least in the argument of best tight end in football. George Kittle definitely isn't Zach Ertz. He's dipped down. That's no shot at Zach Ertz. I didn't have to do that because this offensive scheme as a whole makes no sense. Run the football. Run the football. I almost said, Doug, did you see that? Watch my lips. Go replay that and watch my lips if you're listening to this on YouTube. This podcast is also an audio form also. And you should check that out. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Hit the 5-star review, maybe a little comment as well. I just butchered the hell out of that. Regardless, it doesn't matter. I was about to say, run the football, dog. No, run the football, Nick. You know, this whole thing about the RPOs that he said, it still makes me wonder what is going on inside of his brain. I always use the monkey that was using the instruments and banging it over and over and over again in Doug Peterson's head. Is that what's happening in Nick Sirianni as well? The fact that he seriously stated that RPOs are runs. They're not runs because Miles Sanders is a playmaker that can gash through for 24 yards. You can take one to the house and have a home run hit. Just because it's in the play design, it doesn't mean it's utilized. It's not utilized. So just the fact that it's there and a possible option is ridiculous if you count that as a run play. It's not. And you can see the difference because Miles Sanders barely did any damage. Is it possible that you can run the football, keep Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid on the sidelines, Travis Kelce on the sidelines, run the football, use clock, and take shots downfield when you can as well? Maybe. You think about what Kansas City likes to run defensively, mobile quarterback. Maybe they start throwing some blitzes your way. Well, if they throw blitzes your way and you have someone who can use his feet very well and Jalen Hurts, use your feet, or maybe get an opportunity downfield with a matchup that you like, but you also have to make the throw. Jalen Hurts was bad. I'm watching Joe Burrow last night on Thursday Night Football in the second half drop dimes, throw the ball perfectly right there in the breadbasket. I forget who the receiver was. Was it Boyd coming across the middle? And he didn't even need to move his hand. He was running, and as he was running, the ball perfectly just was a dot right into his forearm. He caught it and fell to the ground. He actually got hurt on the play. He was on the sidelines playing with his wrist or playing with his hand. I thought, was the ball thrown so perfect that it actually hurt his receiver? I guess it was possible. Maybe it was the tackle that happened afterwards. Regardless, though, and I'm pretty vocal about, people nitpick. Sometimes the throw is in the range of the receiver needs to make the play, and you just want to emphasize the poor throw, that it was half of an inch behind the receiver. For example, the 3rd and 11 last week that Devontae Smith dropped in the middle of the field, that needs to be caught. Now, it wasn't the greatest throw in the world, but that does not mean it's okay by Devontae Smith standards. Absolutely not. If you're going to be a great receiver in this league, that has to be made consistently. DeAndre Hopkins, not every throw is just insanely right on the money. He goes up and gets it. Now, you're talking about arguably the best wide receiver in the game, but I'm just saying that's what separates you in this league. With that said, I'm looking at Jalen Hurts, and I need a lot from him in this game because he was bad. Did not help, though, that Nick Sirianni basically made them one-dimensional and played exactly into the hands of Dallas. And I just wonder, is he going to play exactly into the hands of Spagnuolo, of Andy Reid? I can't rule it out of the equation. See, it stings because we're basically already back where we were last year with how football Sundays feel. And maybe there's a miracle. Who would have thought the Jaguars would have stayed in on the road against Cincinnati? Not me. They could have went up 21-0 right before half. They didn't. What do you know? Another big star at right before half. So far, everything right before half makes such a big impact on the outcome of the game. I swear to God, the fact that there was a goal line stand and then there's momentum going in Cincinnati's way. Maybe something that you should think about, whether you get the ball first or you get the ball second. You're playing with 3 minutes to go in the first half. Just think about that because they've been so huge and so monstrous over the first handful of games here of the season. What's the identity of this offense? Well, that's a great question, Brodes. Why, thank you, everybody. We don't know, but Nick Sirianni's answer was basically everything under the sun. Well, we like to get explosive plays. We look at turnover battles. We run the football. We get play action. No, you don't. It's like you're telling us about all these things you love about your offense and the identity of it. You don't do half of them. And if you try to do them, you're failing miserably. So that's my problem with his answer of the identity of the offense. You don't have one. And that's the problem. You need to have one. You said all the right things early. The execution has been insanely poor. We're getting repetition now. It's on me. It's on me. It's on me. Well, guess what? 5, 7, 8 games from now, it's on me ain't going to fly. There needs to be change. There needs to be structure. The offense needs to make sense. Look, nobody's really thinking that they can win. It's football any given Sunday. We've seen crazier things happen before. But ultimately, we know the strengths of Kansas City outweighs what the Philadelphia Eagles have right now. What I need to see from Nick Sirianni is something that makes sense. Run the football, move downfield. You might lose. You might lose 30 plus to 21 or something along those lines. But those 21 points were scored with great drives and flow in the offense and play design that's creative and getting guys open, and plays are building off of one another. It feels honestly like, hey, let's randomly pick random routes and see what happens when you throw it. Drop back a quarterback who doesn't have the greatest arm strength in the world. It's very doable. It's not as bad as what people think. But if you're going to drop him back 98% of the time, if not 99% of the time, well, it's not the best. You have to limit the shots you take downfield, and when you take those shots, I've been through this. It's like Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's three-point percentage a few years back under Brett Brown was lower because he took more threes. He's now taking less threes. His percentage is going up. Same could be said with the deep ball with Jalen Hurts. You take less, you can execute at a higher clip. I feel like they were looking for it way too much for sure. The offensive line is something you're going to keep your eye on for. I thought Landon Dickerson, another guy who's saying it's on me. I'm not holding myself I am holding myself to a better standard here. I'm not playing up to my expectations. He's saying that over and over again. But with the injuries to Isaac Seumalo, Brandon Brooks, and with Jordan Mailata out, even though that would have been Andre Dillard's spot regardless, you're really depleted on that offensive line. And how is that going to impact the way that this game is called? I'm not going to tell you that the defense in general of Kansas City, like they have the most, we're not talking Nick Bosa. We're not talking D Ford. We're not talking that caliber where they should probably be able to hold their own. Nate Herbig's probably going to get the nod. I thought Landon Dickerson said something pretty interesting along the lines of, whatever coach wants me to do, wherever coach needs me. That type of mentality was what he was answering his questions with. And all right, I don't know. Does that seem reassuring to you? Of a very confident kid right now? Nah, he's getting beat up. And you got to think the way that he went about this, the approach of getting back into it, all the injuries, getting thrown right into the fire, not having the proper reps that you need in a training camp and throughout the offseason as you gear up for regular season action. It's not as if he had that based off of what we've, seen him with his injuries and whatnot. So it's difficult for him. He's going to have to make adjustments. There's no doubt the skill level's in there. It's just about learning and figuring out what needs to be done and the difference between the college game and the NFL with these grown men that are trying to pound through the interior of the offensive line. Thought Andre Dillard did just fine. He was the least of the team's worries last week. I want to see him build off of that. I'm more optimistic than most with Andre Dillard. Not to say that he's, sensational by any means. But there was just way too much of an overreaction on how bad he was based off of playing a position that was never really his position. That's totally unfair. I'll never say Avonte Maddox stinks because he gets abused on the outside. If he stinks in the slot, that's a totally different answer, and that's a different conversation. I'll never say Greg Ward blows because he's on the outside. I'm just using this as an example. If you're using Greg Ward as an outside receiver and he's not creating separation, okay. In the slot, if he can get open in the slot and just be Mr. Reliable. Now, I know he's not utilized the same way this year as he was in years past, but I'm just using that as an example. You got to rate these players off of the actual positions that they are supposed to play in. But Devontae Smith has a lot to learn too. It's all learn, which we knew. It just really crushes the energy level 1,000%. Think about where we were entering week one, and we had questions. We were intrigued, though, of the entire new facelift that this franchise went under. And game one, we were spoiled with the beatdown against a really bad opponent. But ever since then, it's just been doom and gloom, really. Doom and gloom. Mahomes going to be running out there, probably extending plays. You lose Brandon Graham. I love Hargrave and Fletch. We need more from Fletch for sure on the stat sheet, especially with BG out and Ryan Kerrigan being nobody. With all these snaps, my man can't do a damn thing out there. Washed is an understatement. Where's the rush coming from? Besides your interior. It's been great. And think about how great it's been and how much you've been outdueled, outmatched. You need way more. You know, you can sit here and say, yeah, you know what, Javon Hargrave, though. And you're right, Javon Hargrave, though. Fletcher Cox, though. Fletcher's been relevant. He just hasn't been popping on the stat sheet as much, but his impact is still felt. I need more. I'm not satisfied. I need more. But it's still there. It's not as if he's done absolutely nothing. And by the way, you know, the reports about last week, how sick he was, and then you realize the cramps were there as well towards the end. But I didn't realize how sick he really was throughout that week. I mean, could you imagine? Fighting through that? Crazy. But I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt. I need more out of Fletch. I just struggle with myself because, you know, at some point people die out a little bit with their strengths, and he still provides enough. But, I mean, am I supposed to expect him to be 24? Am I supposed to expect him to be 23? At the same time, when you're paid the big bucks and someone like BG goes down, I need you to step the hell up. So that's where I'm toying with my emotions with the Fletcher Cox support and love and the reasonable, I'm not going to say, no, hate's way too strong of a word. There is Fletcher Cox hate out there, but the objective view on his play, maybe, is more of what I'm trying to go down with analyzing Fletch and being critical of him. I would change so much with this, though, with the pre-snap movement. Hey, you have a running quarterback. Let's think about what movement can do. And the fact that he's not even believing in it is actually a nightmare. It's pathetic. If I'm Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman, I'm looking for a new set of ideas here, like an advanced 2021 style of offense. Doug Peterson was a mess with his game plans and his strategy. You need an innovative young mind that's willing. What do you mean you're not willing to use pre-snap movement just to do it? It's not just to do it. You have a running quarterback, and it can confuse. Imagine someone running from right to left at the line of scrimmage, and there's misdirection in the play. And, oh, by the way, Jalen Hurts is also a threat with his legs. Is it a handoff to Miles Sanders? Is it not? There's so much action happening. It creates a lane and gives you a 25-yard run. That's not just doing it to do it. It's to get an advantage. It's to confuse the defense. Come on, Nick. How about getting Jalen Hurts under center for just basic, simple runs? I hate to keep throwing it back to Thursday Night Football, but in the beginning of the game, you're looking at Joe Burrow under center, play action, rolling to his left, making a throw on the run, big gain up the sideline, confusion by Jacksonville. And this Kansas City Chiefs defense, it can get confused. It's not just magnificent to the point where it can't get confused. Of course it can get confused. This team right now is a little in shambles defensively. It'll probably figure itself out as the season continues and progresses. But as of right now, yeah, they're lost. I would have him under center at times. Doesn't always have to be in shotgun. It's just not creative. There's nothing that makes me feel positive. Even if he says something, what is he going to say at this point to really change my perspective? The answer is nothing. Now, before we get to the Anytime Hotline calls, I need to tell you about BetQL, and I want to show you what they have to offer for this Philadelphia Eagles matchup. Do you want to get an advantage over your sportsbook? You need to download BetQL, the only app you'll need to make smart bets. Their best bet model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year to give you the best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports. Their model covers everything from spreads, over-unders, and player props. There's sharp data so you can see who the pros are backing. Line movements so you can jump on betting opportunities in real time. Team summaries highlighting previous success against the spread and the team over-under. Plus, you can save all your picks in one place to track your success. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store right now and download BetQL. Enter the discount code Brodes at payment checkout for 25% off of their subscription offerings. You can find all this information down below in the description. And when you go to the BetQL app, this is what they're giving you for some information on this game. If you go to the spread, the Kansas City Chiefs are -7 on the road. Andy Reid is 14-5 after outrushing an opponent by 75 or more yards last game while coaching Kansas City. When you go to the money line, and by the way, I'll tell you that it's pretty damn close. Sharp money, so the professional bettors are split 51-49 on the spread in favor of the Kansas City Chiefs. So on the spread, it's pretty damn close for smart money, sharp money. For the money line, they have Kansas City Chiefs at minus 396, which is a 76-point difference from the current line. 100% of the sharp money is easily coming in on Kansas City money line. So, that's pretty much what it's telling you. That's a scary sight for the Eagles. If they cover or not, that's irrelevant. It's about the wins or losses for me. And unfortunately, I just don't see it happening whatsoever. All right, so now I think it would be a great time to run it on over to the Anytime Hotline, hear from you, hear from the people, and hear thoughts on the game, as I'm somewhat dreading it in a weird way, and that makes me sick. It really makes me uncomfortable because I shouldn't be dreading it. I just feel awful about what we're about to see happen in South Philadelphia, even on a day with Shady. And I'll never forget that snow game. Oh, my Lord, was that just ridiculous? Him running around in the snow, holding the football like a dope, where you think, oh, no, it's going to get knocked out. There's going to be a fumble. It doesn't matter. He's just holding it wide open with his hands, just grasping it, running down the sideline, running through the middle of the field. It was absurd. But anyway, let's get to the phones. Here we go. Anytime Hotline.
Hey, what's going on, Hunter? It's Isaiah from Youngstown. I just wanted to give you one more idea, man. This is what it is. I think we could beat Kansas City. We're not a crazy bad team. We're an okay team. You know what I mean? Going through a somewhat rebuild, which is weird. But that's the issue. We can beat some good teams. We can have good weeks, but we don't know our identity. And the reason is because we've been average for the past 5 years, 6 years. We won the Super Bowl because we had a good roster, and then after that we lost some guys. The guys got older, and we just been kind of hanging on. You know what I mean? The secondary just okay. We added Slay, Nelson. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, maybe it's a little better now. Our defensive line just okay now. We lost Brandon Graham. Fletcher Cox is getting older. It's only Hargrave. It's just like we don't have all the pieces. So I just want us to be complete. And I think that's the issue. We just can't be complete. Again, our offense, we're just rebuilding.
Well, yeah, I think you're basically saying it, right? It's like all these things are true. Guys are getting older. And after the year after the Super Bowl, and you had Carson Wentz, who came back from the injury. He didn't look right. There were issues from there. And there were so many damn injuries that maybe they would have been still good. They were 9-7 with a billion injuries if they were not filled with those injuries. Were they an 11-win team? Do we look at them differently? I don't know. I mean, that's looking back at it, and we can't change. We won't know. We won't have that information. I'm just wondering, we were average when we were absolutely depleted. What would have happened if they were healthy? And now, 2-3 years of these injuries happening, now it's starting to become, they'll never get back to where they were a handful of years ago and things of that nature. So it somewhat becomes a different shift in the story. But, you talk about being able to compete with some of these good teams. I don't know. I think this season's going to play out win-loss wise, and normally it's not chalk. There's always one you should win that you lose and whatnot, but it does seem, and I'm definitely not going to run through wins and losses right now throughout the schedule, but it does seem like this team might be where you handle business against the teams you should. When you look at the New York Jets, you think of the Atlanta Falcons, maybe the Detroit Lions on the road, the Washington football team, right? You beat the teams you should beat, and then you lose to the teams that you should lose to, which would bring you right around where Vegas honestly analyzed you at, which was at 6.5 wins. I truly, and look, I'm not saying they can't win a game that they should lose. I mean, it does happen every single week, but then there's probably going to be a game they should lose that they win, or you know what I'm trying to say, that they lose that they should win. Maybe they lose to the Jets. Maybe they lose to the Lions or something of that nature. But so hard right now because I have no idea what this offense is. There's no flow in it at all. They can't move the football, and it's dead. It's stagnant. It does absolutely nothing. And the quarterback is struggling to hit his receivers in stride with simple plays. All around, no pre-snap movement, no under center, not running the football. I mean, it's setting the team up for disaster. If you have a pie chart, I'm big on the pie chart here when looking at who there is to blame for current situations. For me, it's a no-doubter that while Jalen Hurts has been an issue, and I have my question marks about Jalen Hurts, which have been all the same question marks that we've been talking about since he was drafted on, if he can play or not. It's the same exact things. It's just actually being played out over a longer period of time, so we're witnessing those problems more. But Nick Sirianni is not putting him in a successful opportunity, and that's what upsets me the most, where the head coach is lost. There were going to be growing pains. There were going to be issues, but the offense would still have a clue. This is Adam Gase territory, what we saw last week. Adam Gase. Overmatched, overpowered, no answers, game running out of control. And if it snowballs on you and it just loses you when you lose grasp of it so early, and there's no sense of getting it back, and you can say, well, Brodes, that was part of this. You need to learn to see if he can. You're right. I'm not discrediting that. I'm not downplaying that. I'm just saying what I see right now is I don't know if I have a lot of faith that he can get that. I don't know if he has that. I don't know if he has that. It doesn't look great right now. I'll tell you that for free. All right, what's next? Hold on. Let's move over here. All right, what's next?
Yo, bros, it's conference training, and to be honest, man, I really don't feel good about Sunday. It's really hard for me to feel good about Sunday after watching the performance last week. But, if you ask me, the key to the game on both sides of the ball, the offense is simple. Run the fucking ball. Run the ball. Give Miles Sanders, Kenny Gainwell, Boston Scott, fuck it. Even call up Jordan Howard from the practice squad, give him some touches. I don't care. You run the ball. You have to keep Kansas City's offense off the field. Run the ball. Run the ball. Chew up clock and keep their offense off the field. On the defensive side is simple. We need to have defensive line is stacked, dude, with Hargrave and Fletcher Cox. But who do you have at linebacker besides Singleton? Like, Singleton has a cool story, man, but he's not an elite linebacker.
No, he's not. He's absolutely not. I actually had somebody in my comments the other day saying I'm an absolute idiot for saying that Alex Singleton is just a guy and he's not that good. Go look at his tackles. Excuse me. Go watch the linebackers and the way that they pounced towards the line of scrimmage. They were 3 seconds late to basically every single play. They couldn't read it right. They can't read and react properly. His story's fine. It's cute. It's awesome. But at the end of the day, go watch Parsons. Go watch Van Der Esch. Go watch some of these linebackers throughout the league. Patrick Queen, these safety linebacker hybrids, Jeremy Chin. Go watch these cats and then come back here and go watch Alex Singleton, with all due respect. It's a let's just get by type of linebacker, and unfortunately that's not what's going to help you succeed in this league. I don't think that it's going to be great at all. What we keep bringing up, though, is the defense, the Kansas City Chiefs defense. And if you do run the ball and you keep them on the field, it even does more damage to them, where if Kansas City is putting together drives, and hell, they have the power to just throw 2 shots downfield and score on you within 40 seconds, and then, the Kansas City Chiefs defense is right back out there. But my point is, what I'm trying to emphasize here is, if there is a way to run the ball and methodically move downfield and earn the clock and put it in your favor and all that, this team that doesn't have a lot of confidence right now, that have some issues internally on that side, that don't feel great that everything's running smoothly, is probably going to feel like, damn, here we go. We've been out here for 5 minutes? Damn, this is eating us up. And whatever the case is, if you look at the time of possession and the ball is in the Eagles' favor, that means that defense that's already being questioned is having to fight through a lot, having to battle out there. You don't want the ball in Mahomes' hand. That's why the other night when it was Baltimore, was it Baltimore, Kansas City? Or was it Baltimore, Green Bay? It might have been Aaron Rodgers. Was it Green Bay or Pat Mahomes? I forget which one. I think it was Pat Mahomes. Yeah, because that was one of their losses. It was. You don't give them the ball back. Go for it on 4th. Get the first down. Baltimore wins. You don't give them the ball. You keep it away from them. But I wouldn't be surprised if after the game I hear from Nick Sirianni, our game plan was to give Kansas City the ball. Because so far, everything I don't want them to do, they've done as their message, as their tone, as their weak game plan. And I'm saying weak game plan, not W-E-A-K, W-E-E-K. That was their game plan heading into the week, which is mind-blowing. All right, what's next?
Hey, bro, it's calling in about the Eagles-Chiefs game coming up. It is so important that Nick Sirianni establishes a run game in this one because when you let the ball get into Mahomes' hands, your defense is not going to be able to stop anything because the offense is just that elusive when it's clicking and running on all cylinders. And if the Eagles find themselves where they have a chance to win in the end, this is where Nick Sirianni needs to be aggressive and not get cute. Like I said, you get the ball in Mahomes' hands, it's over. That's how the Ravens and Chargers have been able to beat them in the past few weeks.
Well, I mean, I'll go as far as here. You do want to be aggressive. You want to keep your foot on the gas. You don't want to get into a shootout with them, but knowing your limited opportunities due to the recent non-success of your offense, if you're in a spot on their 30 and it's 4th down, 4th and 5, you got to go. Like, you got to go. You can't be settling for 3 points and trying to field goal your way through a victory against Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, who's just a magician and could throw on the run, escape the pocket, blindfolded behind the back, you name it. So, there has to be a way to aggressively be right about this, but at the same time, I just don't see them being in that position. With that said, though, maybe this is the one where you go and going, what the hell? Sunday night we're recording going, what the hell? They won? We thought they had no chance. We thought they had no shot. Why did this offense look completely different? Well, they ran the football, Brodes. Maybe. I don't feel that's going to happen, by the way. I'm just saying, this is one of those weeks where 98% of the fan base goes, no way. I'm barely even going to be paying attention to this beatdown. It'll be a 30-point mess. And then we all scratch our heads going, well, what just happened here? Everyone's mentioning the run game, which is very fair. It makes a lot of sense. I find it hilarious that all these beat reporters, Adam Kaplan of Inside the Birds, Dave Zungaro of NBC Sports Philadelphia, they feel awkward and weird saying they need to run the ball more because in this era of football, there's those get-off-my-lawn people that think it should be back in the 70s and 80s of football that just need to run constantly, and that's your way to victory, where in 2021, it's just like basketball, more about the threes. Well, it's more about the throwing the ball for sure, but that's how abysmal it's been from the perspective of the head coach. That's how bad. That's how poor we're talking the run game being, is where all the ones that have said, like, you don't have to run it as much as people want them to. It's like, dude, you're not running at all. You're not running at all. There's got to be something. There's got to be some level of middle ground here. There's got to be a level of some sort of, like, Miles Sanders is one of your best playmakers. You're eliminating it from the game as a whole. You are. It's like the other week where there was no Ertz, no Goddard. Well, you're just eliminating two of your better playmakers. Why are you not giving one of your best playmakers the football? Please explain that to me. It's dumb football. It's dumb. All right, we'll take one more.
What I'm most interested in with this one is I can't wait to see the genius game plan that Sirianni and Steichen come up with compared to the brilliance of the last two. I know that BetQL has the over-under on total Miles Sanders carries at 4 this week. So run to the pay window, everybody, and cash in. Easy money. As for the game itself, the Eagles, yes, we need a win. Kansas City does too. If the Chiefs lose this game, they're in a little bit of trouble with the division that they play in. The Eagles are by far the easiest team they've played of the first 4 games. So, unless the Chiefs hand it to the Eagles on a silver platter, I can't see the Eagles outright winning this game, even at home. I do think they keep it close, and I do think the score may be a little lower than you might think, but I'll go Chiefs 24, Eagles 16.
That is a lower scoring game, but you know what? If you told me 24-16, and who knows how it looks, I don't know, if it's 24-8 or something along those lines, and that's the score of the game for majority of it, and then the Eagles score a late touchdown because prevent defense is being played and the final score looks closer than what the actual product was, maybe I feel differently. If you tell me 24-16 was the end, though, right now, without seeing context, I'd say, well, the Eagles, hung in there against this team more than I probably thought that they would. You're right, though, with the sense of urgency. There's definitely a sense of urgency. Andy Reid's pissed off. Pat Mahomes is pissed off. They're trying to figure that out. There's two ways that happens, though. One way is they do, and they cash in, and everything's rolling perfectly. Or two, they put too much I like to compare. We're comparing today. You're a hitter up at the plate, and you're trying to get that hit so badly. You're in a big slump, and you're overdoing it. You're over swinging. You're overcomplicating your swing as a whole. Is it possible that Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes, after a couple trips to the Super Bowl, they're over swinging right now, knowing the pressure, knowing that everybody automatically writes them in, and forgetting that there's a 17-game journey before you even get there, and other teams look up at them now as the guy. You're never going to get a game where someone's going to take their foot off the gas because you're the Kansas City Chiefs. You're the standard of the NFL. Everyone's chasing you. We want to take you down. Every time that game's highlighted, no matter who the schedule is, no matter who the opponent is, they have Kansas City highlighted on their schedule. They want a piece of you. So is it possible that this might be one of the years that you chalk up to a bit of a hiccup, a bit of some goofiness, and they need that to reset? I don't know. I'm not betting on it here. Or at least maybe it is, but not to the level of losing to the Eagles when they're in shambles. I have zero faith in the offensive game plan. What they'll do is they seem to overdo whatever was the problem the week before. Not enough shots downfield. Way too many shots downfield. Not running the football enough. Maybe running the ball too much might be what they do this week. And there's going to be times where it's like, all right, let's implement some play action. Pre-snap movement, under center. We probably won't, but it's beneficial for sure. So here's my score prediction. I'm going to go 28 Kansas City, 17 Eagles. 28-17 is my final prediction score, and we'll see how it all shapes up. I'm recording this, by the way, before any injury report updates and whatnot, so we'll see what happens on Friday with some injury reports. Does that change anything? Who knows? Maybe. Right now, the offensive line is completely in shambles a bit. Completely in shambles, is that the right word to go with? It's in shambles, but it's still hanging on by a thread, maybe. We'll find out. Maybe not. Who knows? Before we head out of here, it's been a great start to the NFL season. It's only getting better at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. DraftKings is kicking off another week of action by giving all new customers a can't-miss offer. Bet just $1 on any football game this week and receive $150 in free bets. And this football season, all customers can swing big with same-game parlays. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code Brodes to receive $150 in free bets instantly when you place a bet of $1 on any football game. That's promo code Brodes to get $150 in free bets instantly this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older, Pennsylvania only, new customers only, restrictions apply. In partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino, see DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, everybody, thank you all so much for listening to this Football Friday, and I will see you next time.